While the St. Louis region has its challenges, finding a place to enjoy art is not one of them. For a city its size, St. Louis has an abundance of arts of all genres. Whether it be visual art, music, theater, or dance, something about St. Louis sparks creativity. One reason for that is the Regional Arts Commission, or RAC for short. For 35 years, it supported working artists and arts organizations, large and small. That support not only keeps the lights on for artists and arts of all genres, it also shines a light on the vibrant local arts community. And RAC couldn't have a more enthusiastic and passionate leader. Vanessa Cooksey is the president and CEO of the organization. She is the first RAC leader with that title, bringing her role in line with that of area business leaders. As the RAC website says, the arts mean business. I joined Vanessa in conversation at the RAC offices on Del Mar. She speaks very candidly about the challenges posed by COVID-19, the need for a unified regional strategy in promoting the arts, and how she came to lead the largest arts funder in the St. Louis region. And now, a conversation with Vanessa Cooksey. Vanessa, first of all, congratulations on the job here at the Regional Arts Commission. And thank you for sitting down and talking with us.
Thank you so much, Dennis. I'm honored to be here with you.
Well, this is a chance for the people of St. Louis to get to know who you are and what your goals are for this organization that means so much to the city.
Thank you.
So let's take this opportunity to tell the people of St. Louis, who is Vanessa Cooksey?
Vanessa Cooksey, first and foremost, is a person who loves art and creativity. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a daughter, and I am excited about leading RAC in this moment. My professional career has prepared me for this. I have an undergraduate degree in radio, television, film from the University of Texas. I started my career at Cartoon Network in Atlanta. I also had an opportunity to work in the mayor's office for the city of Atlanta. And when I moved to St. Louis in 2008, that really started my career in corporate philanthropy. And what is most important to me is serving. Vanessa Cooksey is a servant leader, and I am committed to making a difference at whatever organization where I am in the community. I want things to be better because I showed up. And so what I want people to know is that RAC has a unique opportunity to really support St. Louis's recovery and resilience, because arts and culture bring us together. And a sense of community and belonging is so important right now.
Well, you came here from some very big St. Louis corporations. What attracted you to RAC?
I am an artist and a creative in my heart, and having an opportunity to lead an organization, particularly RAC, we are uniquely positioned. I wanted to do a work that was regional. So RAC is a quasi-governmental organization. We're both a nonprofit and representative of the St. Louis City and St. Louis County. And our region is at a moment of transformation, and arts and culture is an essential part of that transformation. And so what attracted me to RAC was an opportunity to bring all of my experience in philanthropy, arts and entertainment, and government to move this city forward by supporting our artists and arts organizations in a way that RAC has always done, but then to evolve the organization to do new and greater works.
Under your leadership, what do you think RAC's role in the community is going to be?
RAC's role in the community is to ensure a full creative life for every St. Louisan. Our mission and how we were chartered by the Senate Bill 709 is to promote, encourage, and foster the arts in St. Louis City and St. Louis County. And we have done an amazing job of that over the last 35 years. But now it's time to take that to the next level, ensure that every child, adult, elder has access to art and creative endeavors. It's both doing art and engaging in art.
And to the average St. Louisan who says, I'm not an artist, I don't go to arts organizations, what does it mean to them to have RAC in the community?
I am so glad you asked that, and that's something that we're really excited about through our grants and programs, through our cultural tourism marketing and our policy and advocacy, is to really help people understand the value of arts and culture for the individual. Sometimes people will say, oh, I'm not a creative, I'm more science or business. If you are upright and breathing, you are creative. Creativity is part of the human experience, and RAC provides a myriad of resources to help people tap into that creative expression.
Now, you inherited this organization at a pretty rough time with the pandemic hitting and all that. How bad was RAC hurt by the pandemic?
The COVID-19 pandemic was significant for RAC. We get 93% of our revenue from hotel motel sales tax. And so as you can imagine, with limited travel, we saw a 62% decrease in revenue in 12 months. We went from a $7 million budget to a $3.5 million budget. And, we're working towards 2.5 this year. So it's been significant, particularly as it relates to our revenue.
And I would imagine you had to make some staff adjustments.
Yes, written into our statute is a requirement that only 15% of our annual revenues can be spent on administrative and staffing expenses. So we are held to a higher level of accountability because we're funded by the public, by tax dollars. And so we had to make some significant staff changes because of our decrease in revenue. So we went from 14 full-time employees to 3.
Ouch. How's that impacting your ability to serve the artists and the arts communities?
It has had a significant impact. We had to postpone and or cancel several of our programs, like the Guillaume Bada Fellowship Program for students who are interested in pursuing arts administration. We had to postpone that in 2020 and again in 2021. But the thing that I am most proud of is our commission and our grantees and our staff are committed to this work. And so while we haven't been able to do everything, our core work of grant making and ensuring that artists and arts organizations get the resources that they need to survive this pandemic, we prioritize that and are looking at ways to strengthen our organizational infrastructure so that as resources come back, we can bring more programs and grants online.
You mentioned resources come back. How long do you project it'll be before you'll be back to pre-pandemic levels?
2025. We'll start to see some improvements, and we have seen some. People are starting to travel again, but certainly broad tourism, sporting events at the same capacity. Smith Travel Research, Explore St. Louis, we partner with them. 2024 will be better. 2025 is slated to be a banner year, but we're in 2021 right now, so we've got a long road.
What do you do to survive until 2025?
Well, we were very intentional about being good stewards, and so we made some tough decisions around staffing in our programs and cutting our expenses, but we are very intentional about looking at ways to really diversify our revenue. That's just good stewardship, good business sense. And even though hotel motel was good for 34 years, we have to look at other resources in a non-competitive way. We don't want to compete with our grantees like the Symphony or the Black Rep, but how can we bring in new resources of funding, federal grants, national philanthropy to support RAC so that we can then support the sector.
So you're on the other side of your former professional table. You're not the grant giver. You're out seeking grants right now?
Yes, and that is very different. Certainly not something that we will build into the long-term infrastructure of RAC. When hotel motel sales tax comes back, we will continue to depend on that. But it's really about being strategic stewards and making sure that we partner with individuals, organizations to ensure we've got the resources to support our artists and arts organizations.
I know one of the last big public events I attended, March 2020, was RAC announcing its big 5-year plan. And that came on the heels of the year-long Evoque effort, which was a response to Ferguson. What's happened to those two big plans, the Evoque and the 5-year plan?
We are very much still committed to both our strategic plan and the Arts and Plan, the Evoque process, because so many St. Louisans from all sectors gave us feedback and engaged so that we could understand what is the path forward for RAC. What the commissioners and our staff have done is just reordered the priorities. So we're still committed to capacity building for artists and arts organizations. We are going to be leaders, and we are leaders in promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion through the arts, arts education, and strengthening our organization infrastructure. Those are the 4 pillars of the plan. And so instead of starting with capacity building, we've kind of shifted strengthening our organization capacity, making sure we've got the right tools and technology in place in this moment so that as our resources come back, we're able to support our grants and programs in new and effective ways. So it's just a reordering of the priorities.
So the priorities are still there, they're just maybe delayed a little bit.
And some of them are delayed, absolutely, but many of them have just been reordered to accommodate where we are financially and from a capacity perspective. We're going through this just like many of our grantees.
What is the state of the arts community in St. Louis now, as we're starting to come out of this pandemic?
Things are coming together. We are reopening, and I am just so proud of how arts organizations and artists responded to the pandemic. Very early in March, in partnership and led by the Missouri Arts Council, we established MESA, the Missouri Arts Safety Alliance, so that our artists and arts organizations could present safely. So we were in lockstep with the latest guidance on how to respond to the pandemic. Many of our organizations had to cancel performances, reschedule them, pivot to digital, because we know how important art is to people. And so today, because things have gotten better in terms of COVID-19 and its spread, we're starting to see live performances, whether it's Shakespeare in the Park, Dance St. Louis, but it's still much reduced capacity. And I think that that's something that I want people to know. We are open, we are performing, but certainly not in the large crowds that we've been accustomed to.
So the idea is to bridge from now until 2025 when everything can be back to the way it was.
Yes, and I do think that for our arts organizations and artists, whether they're visual artists or performing artists, they'll see recovery a lot faster than RAC because they have more options in terms of engagement. But certainly as things get safer for us to engage, we'll be able to see more performing in visual arts, in public art.
You know, you don't see people running around with a ball cap that says arts on it or a t-shirt that says sculpture. What is the economic value of the arts to St. Louis?
Well, one of these days, I hope people will walk around with t-shirts and caps on that say arts.
Could be a revenue generator for you.
Absolutely, and have RAC in the logo. But we are a strong contributor to the regional economy. 19,000 jobs, $590 million in revenue generated by not just the performing arts, but all the businesses that are supported by our nonprofit arts sector. There's restaurants, hotels, parking. When you go out for an evening to enjoy art, several businesses benefit from that. We generate $57 million in revenue for state and local government. So
$57 million in taxes.
yes, and I don't want us to take for granted that it's just arts for art's sake. These are creative talent that are making products and delivering services that are meaningful in our community with a pretty hefty dollar amount attached to it.
Are you getting any stimulus money to help bring this community back? I mean, there's a tremendous return on investment here, it sounds like.
There is a tremendous return on investment, and we are very hopeful, both as a staff and a commission, that we will receive stimulus funds. It's still too early to tell. Those dollars are coming in now and will continue to come, but we are well positioned in our relationships with both the city and the county and our elected leaders, even within the state level, that know the value of the arts and that we'll get the support that we need, because RAC needs it as an organization, but also to support this sector.
What would you like St. Louisans to know about RAC?
I want St. Louisans to know that RAC has been essential to building and investing in the vital arts and culture community that we have here. We have more arts opportunities per capita than many of the large cities across the United States, whether it's performing arts, visual arts, galleries, public art. St. Louis is a vibrant and beautiful arts community that sometimes we take for granted, and so I am encouraging residents and citizens to know, show, and go. Know that RAC is your resource, visiting our website, racstl.org, to know different events that are happening in the community, being able to support local artists, and just going to experience art. Like, RAC is your resource. We are the designated local arts agency for the city and the county, and so we serve as that hub that supports this sector and will help rebuild our community.
What is your vision for RAC?
My vision for RAC is a full creative life for every St. Louisan, from children who can express through creative endeavors, whether it's drawing, painting, music, that not just helps them academically, but to express and grow into who they are as humans, to working adults and even our elders who still have a lot to give and want to connect in community. And so it's both doing creative works, engaging in creativity. That is RAC's role, to provide opportunities for connection and build community. We want to be in an environment that's beautiful, with murals and sculpture, and feel a sense of belonging and celebrate the diversity that is this community. We have so many people from all over the world that live and work and play in St. Louis, and arts and culture provide that platform for coming together, and RAC will lead that charge.
I've read that communities with very strong arts programs have lower crime rates and higher education rates. Is that true?
That is absolutely true. There's science, there's anecdotal feedback, experiences for people who play musical instruments and or have some level of visual arts, performing arts. Sense of well-being is stronger, the endorphins that are released, the sense of wonder and inspiration helps the whole human. Creativity is part of our birthright as humans, and communities that make that available and accessible to people tend to just thrive. What I love most about St. Louis is the opportunity that exists for leaders who are committed to engaging in community. We're a very strong city of givers and philanthropists, and there's a thriving community of volunteers. And through my work in St. Louis, I had the opportunity to attend Webster University and get my master's degree in business and travel. I'm an honored Eisenhower Fellow in the 2016 cohort. So in 1 year, thank you, I had an opportunity to visit Rwanda, Japan, Cuba, Ireland, and China. And that really opened up my perspective on what it means to be human, things that we experience together across boundaries, and things that are unique to our representative communities. And that's one of the things that I'm excited about leading RAC, is to bring and really manifest diversity, equity, and inclusion, and move us forward in a way that values our connection as humans.
As you said, you've lived around a lot. Been here 13 years. Have you found your Goldilocks city?
I would say it's St. Louis. I had the opportunity to, when I was at Wells Fargo, we made an investment in the For Sake of All report, and Jason Purnell, the author of that report, came to Wells Fargo to present what the vision was for moving us forward, particularly from a racial equity perspective. And we were having lunch, and he was just so positive about St. Louis. And I said, why are you so happy about this? St. Louis has so many challenges. And he said, we're the size city where we can really make a difference. Transformation is possible in St. Louis. And while we struggle with some of the same issues, be they political or economic, our region is just the right size to make a difference and have that difference be felt. And so St. Louis is my Goldilocks city. We're big enough. We're not too big. We're not too small. But more than anything, we're a community that can commit to transformation and really see it happen. It's doable.
Some people have told me when they moved here, they felt like it was a closed society here, that if you weren't from here, then why are you here? But you haven't experienced that. I
have experienced it, and how I have described St. Louis culture is it's very insular. And so not necessarily one that is unwelcoming, but certainly committed to the experiences and the narratives that are part of our rich history. And sometimes that keeps us from making the kind of progress that we want to make and evolve as a community. But what I have found, at least for me in the roles that I've had in corporate philanthropy and serving on various nonprofit boards, is if you're willing to commit St. Louis will open its doors. And we're the show me state for a reason. Show me that you're committed to growing, to working through the hard problems. This isn't a fly-by-night city. You know, when you come and you commit, real change can happen. When North City is thriving, South City is thriving, Central West End is thriving. We are a region that is better together, that works better together, and our work and my work as a leader in the community and now leading RAC is to ensure that equity is real.
When you're looking at a piece of art, you don't know what the color or the race or religion or background of that artist is. It's a piece of art.
Yes, and I might not understand it, and in some instances I might not like it, but that's not the point. What I know is the creative process that that person went through to bring a vision to life is worth honoring and has value.
If you would, take a look over my shoulder at the 3 million people who could be watching this and tell them what they can do to help you with this organization and fulfill the dreams that you have for it.
I want to say to the viewers that I'm excited to lead RAC in this moment, and the best support that you can give RAC is your continued engagement. I am overwhelmed by the support that we have from residents for our work. Certainly donations help, but really connecting with your elected officials to share why art is important in your local community, important to you as an individual, important to your family. Telling the stories of what art has done for you in your community is so important as we look to identify what our priorities will be and the different kinds of programs that we'll create, and just continue to express the value of arts and culture in this community as we recover and continue to thrive.
If you show how valuable it is, it'll be rewarded.
Yes, yes, both with time, talent, and treasure. You know, certainly RAC needs dollars right now, but it's that long-term commitment to supporting our artists and arts organizations and really pulling them in, saying you are part of our community, giving artists a seat at the table for community development, economic development, and just helping to solve human problems. You know, inviting artists to the table is so important. I'm very blessed to have had really great experiences in environments that are highly resourced. And in this particular instance, it was a very busy weekend, and I had an event in New York on Wall Street. I flew to El Paso and visited a homeless shelter for veterans. And I was so thankful that I could engage across the spectrum of experiences. And I said, Lord.
It's quite a spectrum.
It is, to go from one place in one part of the country to another. And I thought, Lord, never let my privilege outpace my humanity, because that ultimately is what I get to do. I am here as a human. Our work as humans is to connect and to make a difference. And sometimes when we're afforded the blessing of resources, we can get comfortable, we can get resistant to change, and our work is to evolve. And that requires us to be uncomfortable sometimes. It requires us to think differently, to engage. And so I am cautious about how I use my resources and my time to make sure that I'm always in service and helping others.
You bring up a point, economic development. Isn't quality of life one of the linchpins of economic development?
Absolutely. If it were just about the jobs, we'd be there by now. Jobs are important, but when people aren't at work, they're in community, and they want their community to be beautiful. They want their community to represent who they are and express their culture. And RAC is an essential part of that, ensuring that our arts organizations and our artists are strong and have the capacity to do and create more is so important. People want to live in communities that are thriving.
Vanessa, thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us and to explain to the people of St. Louis who you are and how you're going to turn this community around, the arts community.
Thank you so much, Dennis. I really appreciate your support.
We're in this together. We're going to make it happen.
Thank you.